In March 2003, the FBI walked into the Birmingham, Alabama headquarters of HealthSouth Corporation and found something extraordinary. Not one, but 5 consecutive chief financial officers had all falsified the company's earnings on direct orders from the CEO. The fraud totaled $2.7 billion. It had been running for 7 years. And when the SEC announced its investigation, 15 executives confessed within a single day. This is the paper trail that brought it all down.
HealthSouth Corporation, Birmingham, Alabama, 1996 to 2003, the largest rehabilitation hospital chain in America and one of the biggest accounting frauds in U.S. history.
Richard Scrushy founded HealthSouth in 1984 with 2 physical therapy clinics in Little Rock, Arkansas. By the late 1990s, he had built it into the nation's largest provider of rehabilitation services. Over 2,000 locations, 37 states, $14 billion in total assets. Scrushy cultivated a larger-than-life image, private jets, a waterfront mansion, a country music career. Wall Street called him a visionary. He was determined to keep it that way, whatever it took.
The pressure began in 1996. HealthSouth's actual earnings consistently fell short of analyst expectations. Scrushy's answer was not to restructure the business. It was to restructure the numbers. According to 5 guilty pleas and sworn testimony, Scrushy convened what insiders called family meetings. Executives were shown 2 figures, what Wall Street expected and what the company actually earned. The difference was called the gap. The order from Scrushy was always the same: fill the gap. No questions asked.
5 chief financial officers served under Scrushy during the fraud years. All 5 ultimately pleaded guilty and cooperated with federal prosecutors. Aaron Beam, the company's co-founder and first CFO, later wrote in his memoir that refusing Scrushy meant losing your career, your stock options, and your freedom. His successors, Michael Martin, Weston Smith, Bill Owens, and Malcolm McVeigh, each inherited the scheme and continued it. Junior accounts were ordered to create fictitious journal entries, inflating assets and revenues to plug the gap quarter by quarter, year by year.
The scheme unraveled in early 2003. CFO Weston Smith, facing personal criminal liability, contacted the FBI and began cooperating secretly. On March 19, 2003, the SEC filed its complaint. The reaction inside HealthSouth was immediate. Within 24 hours of that announcement, 15 senior executives came forward and confessed. Court filings show employees had suspected the fraud for years but feared retaliation. Smith's decision to go to authorities while still serving as CFO was the crack that brought down the entire structure.
The SEC complaint reads like a tutorial in fraud mechanics. Each quarter, accounting staff received targets, earnings per share figures matching analyst consensus. When real results came in below target, the shortfall was distributed across hundreds of ledger accounts in small increments to evade audit flags. Fixed assets were inflated by over $1 billion. Receivables were fabricated. Ernst & Young, the company's auditor, signed off on the books for years. The SEC called it one of the most pervasive accounting frauds in American corporate history.
Richard Scrushy was indicted on 85 counts of fraud, conspiracy, and money laundering, the first CEO charged under the newly enacted Sarbanes-Oxley Act. In June 2005, a Birmingham jury acquitted him on all counts, a stunning verdict that shocked federal prosecutors nationwide. But Scrushy was not free for long. A separate federal investigation proved he had paid $500,000 to Alabama Governor Don Siegelman in exchange for a seat on a state health regulatory board. In 2006, Scrushy was convicted of bribery and conspiracy and sentenced to 6 years and 10 months in federal prison.
The HealthSouth collapse directly reinforced the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, signed July 2002, which requires CEOs and CFOs to personally certify the accuracy of financial statements. False certification is now a federal crime. Scrushy was the first CEO tried under it. If you follow corporate fraud cases, subscribe to Paper Trail. We track the documents the powerful hoped would disappear.